Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of CanalTown here in City Skylines, where today we are going to start building a brand new industrial area because we're starting to get quite a bit of demand, and I think it's time we do some more expansions to make some more sweet cash money moolah. Now if you watched last episode, I did some questionable stuff, and the questionable thinking kind of question right now is the big question on everyone's lips, this question: why did I build this? Which is hilarious. I didn't realize how much the vehicles were going to use this. I built this to kind of alleviate traffic from this junction and mainly this junction here. It wasn't really an issue, but as I build and expand, there's going to add more traffic to it. I didn't realize it was going to alleviate it to the point where they only use this junction, and it's really weirdly set up. It's so bad that I kind of like it in a really weird way. Now, right now, it's starting to back up a little bit. So I thought, why don't we... I'm going to eventually delete this. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to eventually delete this and probably build something bigger and better. But until then, why don't we try and perfect this monstrosity? And to do that, what I'm going to do is... Have we got the 4-lane... We don't have a 4-lane highway road, do we? I don't think we... Oh, do we? Do we? Yes, we do. Right, if I upgraded this... and this just to there, and maybe to here as well, and then it just does its own magic to kind of filter in. It's really, really weird. Don't get me wrong. It's really weird right now. But what I could do is, with a little bit of the lane magic here, boys, I can set this up to kind of do this, which is more important, to go straight ahead maybe. That can turn obviously there and then go straight ahead. You are to go over and bam. So I'm kind of just making them do all the weird things, but sorting out the lanes anyway, so hopefully it will distribute the traffic a little bit more evenly in where they need to get to. This is terrible, okay? It is really, really bad, don't get me wrong. It is really, really bad right now. But it does mean I can have a few vehicles skedoodle left, right, and center to kind of get to their destination. So I suppose that's a kind of a good thing, maybe. I don't know, but it's just going to back up anyway. It is a monstrosity, but that's not what we're here for today. Then what are we here for then, Seniac? Well, I have this huge industrial demand kind of creeping up, and we've got a little bit of industrial over here, and then we have some IT offices and some industrial just over there, and that's pretty much the main bit of it, apart from the, you know, built up industries that we do have. Now, I want to build it on the opposite side because I want to kind of get them spaced out. It's more heavily over here and here. I'm going to get some over here as we eventually start building the residential area around here set up as well. So I want to build it over here anyway because, one, it's away from where I want the residential stuff to be. It's also going to be near the cargo airport, and also at the same time we got the train line skedoodling all the way up, which I can connect to get goods in and out. So it just feels like a great fit. It's also near all the garbage too, which is emitting pollution. So yeah. Right, we're going to need to maybe implement a spine road going through it. I'm not sure how big this is going to be. I think I'm going to keep it nice and simple and small to begin with. We'll do like a nice little small pocket for it. And depending on how the traffic's going to go, it's already quite busy, this road. It might have to be kind of switched up for a roundabout. But we're using over here anyway, this rural style road. And it is, I believe, this style. It's a little bit big and bulkier for the vehicle. Speed is set to 80. So if I just come out by an 11, I'm going to come out by 11 there. And I don't know whether I'm going to kind of connect. Do you know what? We'll do this. We'll do a 10 and then another 10 and delete this one. We'll do a 20 here as well and delete this one, just so I know that's where the boundary is going to be. Now, I don't want it to be... I mean, it's going to be gritty, but I don't want it to be too gritty. So what I'm going to do is we're going to bring this down. We'll get it to follow the tree line and then kind of loop back up to kind of come back round. And then we'll kind of spring off it as if like we bought the parcel of land off all the farmers. And then some didn't sell as quick as others. So we kind of had to do some makeshifts with building some road networks. So if I go to about here with this, we'll run a few little straight little sections up. We're then going to go down to here. And then I reckon we need to go up to here. We'll go to there. So I'm just running a few little straight sections that you can kind of utilize. Alright, we'll go to about there. Running this down to there. And it's all going to kind of technically filter back into the same area. Like that. So we're going to create like a little bit of a loop right now, which is going to be good. It's quite important to have these straight pieces because they give us great connections off to get to where we want to get to. And we just create like a beautiful little industrial space. So this road can obviously be extended and expanded upon as time goes on. We'll go with that one for there. We'll kind of close this up. We can add more to it. We can bulk up the roads. We can do all the things for it. Alright, there we go. Bam. So I was going to try and do it quite even, but I suppose I don't really mind. Depends on how big the gap is for the bend. Then I might kind of suggest doing some even stuff. If it's not that mental, then we can kind of get away with it. Like a 6x6, that's fine. I mean, that's close enough where I can just go bam, straight in. So 9x7, we'll hit that up as well. And we have these beautiful little spots. So obviously this is going to link into it somehow. And I could do a beautiful little triangle of roads. Let's see where these kind of meet just here. So if I went like this, and then we're going to simply go wabam, wabam, thank you ma'am. Now the difference is if you wanted to come down here and then do that, it's more of a sharper corner there. So I don't know whether to kind of just throw out a few little roads here and there to kind of shortcut the routes. Like if I went like this and I bended this down, right, which I could then maybe sort this out to go like that and like that. You know what I mean? Bam, bam. But if you want to go this way, you kind of can't do it. So let's just keep it nice and simple, Saniac. But you give it this little bypass to go straight up. Even though the bypass, right, is on the wrong side of the road. But you get what I'm trying to say. You can kind of skedoodle this way without having to kind of intertwine or crisscross with this junction. So I don't know how important that's going to be, whether I keep it like that. Do you know what? I'm going to delete it. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. So let's add a little bit of a connection tool. I know it's only a slight little bend, but it's enough that it could potentially throw us off. So we're going to throw that little wiggle in just there. Oh, it's the wrong style of road as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So there we go. We got a beautiful little industrial area. So we've got to figure out then where we want to place down the train station. And I reckon I'm going to do 2 cargo stops, not to overwhelm it. One down here and maybe one further up on this side. So these are quite important before we go anywhere else. So I'm going to select a little entry point from here, which will bring up to about, let's go by a 15. And then from this, we'll create our little loop that we're going to have set up for a cargo train. So it's got to be a 5x5 bend. 5x5x5. And just for now, we'll throw down the train line just there. So this is going to connect up to this line over here, but I want to see if I can do something that can kind of merge them both in. Now, I want to do something over around here somewhere. I'm just looking at the topography right now of the land coming down. So if that's going to be over there, it's either got to be here or over here. Let's do it here. So, again, I'm not sure how busy that junction there is going to be. It might need a roundabout, or do I make it just kind of, for now... If I put it there, I think that one will be used more than this one. So if I put it here, they're kind of evenly spaced out. Oh, boys. The dramas I need to go through right now. The dramas. Right. So literally replicate what I've just done. And then we go for a 5x5. Right, it won't let me do it. 5. Right, let me do this side instead. There we go. And then throw this down just here. And then we'll kind of work everything away from it. So we've got a couple of train stations now down on either end of this industrial area. It's going to be very busy, obviously, which is why we've got a great highway connection just there anyway. I'm sure we'll have more road connections. It's probably a good idea to bring this kind of coming through and then connecting in as well, just to kind of give us that additional extension. Now, will we need to see us upgrading the roads? I don't know how much traffic is going to be because we're also going to have train stations down as well. If so, I'm going to drop this road in here. So bringing this down by the 30, which I'm going to utilize this road. Actually, if I just bring it down by the 20, because I can make it kind of bend and go across, connecting to there. It will eventually connect to this. So if I just make this road go up to here, just so I got an idea this is going to connect. So we have, more access areas. But we should heavily be reliant on the trains anyway, so we should be okay. Right, from this then, we'll do the usual stuff then. So we'll bring this down and we'll kind of make this go as far as we would like. And then I reckon we do a 30 and then go for the connection. So a 30 and go for the connection just there. And then this is not really going to go too far right now. We kind of do like a little bit of a 10 by 10 bend. Because I don't want to go for a huge area. But I want some organization before we create the chaos. Is the best way to put it. So we create like little pockets of industrial. That's ultimately what we're doing. Little pockets of industrial. So that will go into there quite nicely. I know that's the only entry point just now. So I could also maybe bring down this. So we've got then like a 20. So delete this one back and we'll go for like a 10 by 10 bend here. Bringing that down to there. And straight in. So we'll do the usual suspects first. So quite detrimental right there with all of this. And then what we'll do, we'll try and step away slightly. So we'll do a 10 by 10 just here. That's not really a 10 by 10, is it? There. To kind of end that area there. So like I said, we're trying to create little pockets. We'll come out about here then. So let's stick it out just there. And we'll go to about here. And then we'll just come down by a 20. And then back in. So small little pockets to begin with. And then when we start to see how the traffic interacts with the area, that's when we'll maybe then choose to kind of bulk it up a little bit. So that reaches there by 27. So if I do a 17, and then we get to do a 10. Alright, let me see if I can do a 10 by 10 here. 10 by 10 connections are there. It might have to be bulked up depending on what happens. But again, I can pull out the magic in creating these small little pockets. And I want to place like a load of trees down as well to make it feel all enclosed and whatnot. But I reckon this will be a good start. This should be a good little start right now. And then we'll also bring a road out just here. So I don't want this connected to this area. So try and go for another 10 by 10. Alright, there and then straight in. We'll cut across there. Now, obviously, because this road is going to kind of continue up, what I'll do for here is create as if there was going to be a connection here. Now, this will be an 11 by 10. There we go, which will then run us onto this area, and that will kind of crisscross that way. I know I was going to do some kind of staggering stuff, but that's kind of how we'll build it for now. So again, small little pockets, leaving bigger gaps for trees, for greenery. And then bring this up. So I'm kind of creating like a little business park. It won't be all dirty industry. There will be some offices and stuff down as well. But I'm just trying to make the most of the space in hand. So if I go down to a... Let's go to a 15. I know this will be then a 9 bend. But we'll do a 9 by 10. Let's keep it nice and simple. Connect it in. So we've got these little loops going around. Straight up. And then we'll kind of end that like that. So then coming off this, Oh, that's the 10 marker there. So I'm going to do a little bit of a 15. Go with the old 10 by 10. And then... I don't think you're really going to get much out of this. As opposed to being something like that. So if I come out by a 3. Straight in. I think that's asking for too much like that, isn't there? Yeah. We'll leave it like that. So creating these little pockets, these little cul-de-sacs for like business ends to run and stuff like that. And then little gaps there for trees. It's like I'm writing some kind of ancient kind of language right now, doesn't it? That's kind of what it feels like. So we'll have a connection coming off here, which connects to this. I don't know if we'll pick it up straight away. So, an 11 by 11. Another solid connection coming straight in. We'll then try and compete with having this and this sticking out, which will hopefully 15 by a 15-ish directly running into here. And can we get something the same going up over here as well? 18 by 16, we'll roll with that. And then coming out by a 3, what can we get up here with a simplified bend to end that beautifulness in the middle. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be amazing, this area. Bringing this across with your usual 10s, we'll kind of run this out to somewhat of an end. Again, kind of industrialized. And then we can then push it further up. Now, I could go crazy and add so much more in. But I reckon this will be a decent start. We got a ring road, we got connecting roads, we got through roads. But hopefully it's enough where the traffic's not too OTT. So, let's get the train line in first then before we go anywhere else. And looking at the topography right now, I reckon we do a V here coming down into another V that then goes around to both sides so we can get them connected to the same system. And let's pick you here. So if I went back by 4, 21 by 21, none of them have the train tracks connected just yet, which they now do into this, which is perfect. So that's already a 3. So if I make this then a 18, which plus the 3 becomes another 21, right? And then what was that distance from here, for example? That was a 16. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So then I should be able to get a 21 there. A 21 there, and it's pretty much the same setup again. Bringing this down to bend. Bringing this into bend. Voila! And I just got to get these now all connected up. So we'll allow the game to decide how the terrain falls into place. We have to bring this further down. Nice and simple, nothing crazy. 25s on the bend. There we go. And then same for this, bringing this up. There we go. And do we pick up a bend down here? I don't think we do. We'll do another 10. 24 by 20, I'll take that. So that couldn't be any more simple if I tried right there, could it? It couldn't be any more simplified right there. I'm hoping not one favors over the other. But you never know in this game. You never know. Right, let's quickly pause and just do some smoothing around. Just kind of take the heat off this train line that we've now dug into the ground. And of course you need to provide this area with all the water it needs. So it's going to go run straight through here with a centralized snap. There we go. There we go. Central snaps. 20. Was it a 22 is like the magic number? I think it is. Okay, I went by 23 there. I'm just going to have to kind of dig it down slightly and go across. Alright, just cut this one to there. Why not? So, covered in water. Absolutely beautiful. Now, in terms of power, these guys are connected over there. So, what we'll do is we'll run some power lines. Put it into play right now. Put it into power lines into here so I can then go straight from there in and then down. So the train line is then connected. We don't have one over here, so what I'm going to do is just drop down a little wind turbine just for the sake of giving it the power in general to run that. Then the two import-export areas are pretty much good to go. So they've got a really cool little exit route up there too, so not too far away. And they can bring it all in and then disperse the cargo to pretty much wherever they require and wherever they pretty much need it. So this can become quite a big industrial area, but we do need to be quite careful about how much I do throw in this. Otherwise, it's going to become completely overwhelmed with traffic. So you got to do a decent blend between dirty industry and offices. So where we got little pockets like this, I'll throw down some dirty industry. Providing I can build it all up anyway. All through here as well. And then we'll end it with like the edged areas with some offices. Really split. So again, the more offices you throw in, more industry you have, obviously, but less traffic you have as well. So mainly on the important junctions is where we put the offices, because it frees up those junctions and still allows us to have the industrial. So little junctions here and there. We'll throw in the offices like I mentioned. Pull it where I can. Bring that around the edge. Dirty industrial there. I don't want to go too crazy with the offices though. Let's not go too crazy with all of this. But also putting it around the edge like this as well allows me to place down some trees because the pollution's not going to spread that much. And it still allows me to do my little tree design that I want to try and give a go with. So, also being quite cautious about not overloading some of the roads. And we'll see what happens. We'll ultimately see what happens. So, a lot of places are going to need power. So, and we're going to pretty much spend that demand quite quickly with the amount that we have now thrown down. So, we need to keep an eye on this. We do need to kind of keep an eye on this area. So, we need to give it the power. So, I'm just going to go from here with the power. Just to firstly connect you up. How much zoning have I done around here? Not really that much. So it's either a case of waiting for it to all spread and connect over, or let it do what it's got to do. But also I need the emergency services as well. So we're going to start with a high capacity fire station. Where do I place these down? Where would be a good little area? You kind of want it centralized as well. So I reckon literally placing it here would be a good idea. Nicely centralized for this whole industrial area. Same with the policing right now. Put them right next door to it. And we would need an emergency services. We would need a hospital around here, solely because any injuries that go down, we've got to make sure that we are covered with a beautiful little hospital. So is there anywhere in which I can kind of force one in? That would be a good fit. I reckon maybe up here. So if I went for like a little bit of a T-junction almost. Big boy hospital. And throw down a little creme just before it. In case anyone dies. Rip to those fools. Rip to them. Right, okay, so I'm going to run some power lines just up and over to it. I don't know if that one sole wind turbine is enough to power all these 3 buildings right now. I suppose only time will tell. And we're going to run some power lines just for now down to here to get this all connected up. So everyone should be okay. I'll stick another wind turbine down, just in case. So everyone should now be okay. We should see the power start to spread and the buildings start to grow as this area becomes more and more used. So once it's all fully built up, we'll do all the little bits then, like all the little decoration stuff like that. I think it's quite cool and quite unique, this area. We still got another connection. It just depends on how busy this little space gets. Depends on how much I kind of transform it. It's got a highway connection. It's just how much they're going to utilize the train stations is the important part. And whether this here is going to need a roundabout as well. And we're going to have to bulk this highway connection up too. But again, it all comes with time. It all comes with sweet, sweet time. Now, how is this doing over here then, since I added that monstrosity in? And we bulked the roads up. It does allow us to kind of get more vehicles turning in and on out of the junction, but ultimately it's not the best move. But I'm going to still keep it in for now. I'm going to still keep it in for now until we get more connections all up and running. So while we wait for that to get connected, what the great thing about this is we're going to eventually be able to utilize canals coming down to get people on and off to and from work, which is going to eventually create this connection up. I think we should focus on this connection anyway and how we're going to bring the canal system into it. So I reckon what we need to do is just slightly pause and just kind of actually bring it back to there, which it is going to cause some flooding right now. And I am going to completely anarchy through a canal system. So I know we've got this mound here that we've got to be careful of. So it would be ideal if I could get the canal system just going through there. And then to somewhat bend this way to there. And then all I've got to do is create said connection and just elevate the highway and just smoothing it out slightly. So this is going to eventually allow me then to run the connection on the way through, which is going to be absolutely glorious. Let me just do some terraforming real quickly. So hopefully that water all seeps back into the canal system. And let me just smoothen off the edges just here. And just here as well. I might need to raise it slightly, depends on how crazy it becomes. And we're just going to raise all of this as well. So road network, highway, singular. Keep it all elevated. So elevate you. And then elevate you and you. So that stays all elevated. I don't need to raise it because the height and of the actual canal boats that we use is adequate enough to go underneath it. So there's no dramas right there. So now all of a sudden, I've got this connection around to here, which is actually pretty cool. Not going to be able to utilize it much just yet, not until I've built this area up here with residential. But it's nonetheless a start. It is nonetheless a beautiful start right now. But I do want to maybe look at the alternative connection going this way around. Because right now, if I go to... we have a canal system going this way. As great as this is it overwhelmed? Let me check the line details. It is quite overwhelmed in some of the stops, so you need the one going the opposite direction. Now that purple loop goes round here. It actually covers a beautiful distance. I'm going to replicate one going on the exact opposite side of it. So where can I utilize this for potential stops? Where can I utilize this for potential stops coming in? Right, go into the canal system ferries here. We have a stop just there, and we have a stop just here. Now, there's an obvious one to place just here, which is great. There's not an obvious one here. If I place any ones that got no road on, I need to add my own road in. There's none down here. There's one just there, which I can utilize with a stop just on this side. That works perfect. Not one just here, which I can kind of connect that across. And then we'll probably end with one here with another road. Maybe one here as well with a road going across. Right, okay. I think I've exhausted... Oh, no, there's another option here for one. And then I think I've truly exhausted all options for other ferry stops without a road connection. So, we'll start them with the basic one. So there's a rural connection just here that I can utilize, which will also allow me to expand and use this space, which is good. So I've had the stop there, or I could stagger the stop to come down here a little bit. But either way, it gives me the ability to use this space. We've got the stop just there, and then we have an underground route just here. But we would also need some type, and we probably have to use the parallel tool right now, some type of a connection. So if I start here to here, and if I can remember, we're doing it by plus 40, wasn't we? Which is directly underneath this train line right now. Now, I don't know whether to kind of link that to a road or kind of keep that as it is separate and just simply elevate. Because we've already discovered that the ferries are low enough that they can connect fairly easy. So if I deleted that and then the road underneath it, to then throw in a tight little knit canal stop just there, we've then got one on the opposite side. Do the same on this side just here. That's all covered wonderfully. I just need one over on this side. Now this is a case of, do I have the connection that close by? Or kind of push it back? You know what I mean? It is a tough one. It is a tough one. So, sinking this down, I mean, I could also utilize from coming straight over from here. So keeping that elevated. And then from there, and the connection, bending this right, it might mean that it kind of sticks back quite a bit and I have to do something like this where it kind of owls in. But I'd rather keep the theme of the road than organize it all to the canal system. So if I go to here, and I'm just going to align it to this road here, like that. Oh, the whole thing's elevated. What have I done? Right, first let me delete this little bit, because we'll connect that in ourselves. Sort all this out. There we go. And it won't fully connect over. So what we'll do ourselves then is implement one in. I might have to use the parallel tool again just to get a connection here. So flip that round. Oh, do you know what? I don't really have to. Well, I kind of do. I do and I don't. I do and I don't. Because what I can do is add you in here. Right. I could unhook the road there to then delete it. To then select this to bring it a little bit closer. To then have a road just... Oh, if it will let me. Right, I have to kind of sort this out myself right now. Hold on, I'm trying to pick up this little node up. It kind of works, but it's too close for comfort, you know what I mean? It's way too close for comfort. Connect you in. There we go. There we go. And eventually that will be connected. But mainly we have a connection here. Now, the obvious thing here to do would be is to have a additional connection that completely elevates over. And trying to now select. This is the annoying bit of all of this. Is trying to select something that is quite difficult to select. To raise you up so it goes both over the edges. And now we have a footbridge. Oh, I say a footbridge. A bridge that vehicles can now go across to get to this side a little bit easier to avoid the shenanigans happening over here. Eventually that will be connected up to there as well. But it also gives them the ability to walk across it. Now, I said I need it to be connected at some point. But I might have to do that connection now. Just to get the road going down on this side. So if I get that to there and then also bring this so far down. And then try and do something similar here. So that's going to be in smack bang into there. I'll utilize this here. Bring this back a little bit. And then unhook that road to delete it. To add in our own little variation of it. Magical. Now, has the power and now the water, now that we've got it connected in. Granted, this is really, really super high. So I do have to think about bringing this down to kind of mimic the edging. So I'll use that with the alignment right now. There to there. So it naturally brings itself down. There to there. As well. And then we'll just smoothen the rest of it off eventually. To get it all to the correct heights. But I ain't going to worry too much right now. We've got that connection. We've got one just there. We've got one there. We've got one there. We've got the one down here. So all I'm missing right now, and there's a couple around here. And one here as well. So that should be fairly easy to do right now. Because again, parallel tool it. So, starting from here, we're going to go right to there. And plus by... a 10 might be a bit too much here. So we'll go for this number instead. And then upgrade you to elevate straight into you. That will give me a ferry stop just there. So we're going to slightly stagger it. We shall unhook the road. And for all, important ideas that I come up with, we will have that footbridge go straight across. So they can connect, but most importantly, just for now, just to walk across it to get to the other side of the canal line. So, unhooking you next. Gone. Did I unhook the other ones over here? Where are we in this? Where is it? It's just down here, isn't it? And then we had to do the one just here. There was one just here. And then obviously the one, if I can get right into it right now. Just there. Because this one's got its own, that one's all fine. This one we've just done. This one's all set up. So next ferry stop is over here then. So getting rid of you. We're still elevated still. Straight over there. Then we're back down to normal. Which I'll lead just to here. Actually, we'll lead it just to there because it doesn't really need to go any further than that. So stop just there. And it has its own bridge to kind of walk across, so it's not too far out of place. And we'll get away with it. There we go. So then we're missing a stop here, which is quite difficult to kind of squeeze in, and a stop there. But these ones will have to kind of do it as this road here will come across. And just like that. And then the same for this. It's not ideal, but it's just what we've got to do to get it all in. So flatten that one and flatten that little strip. So it's just to break up the stops, to stop these ones from being overloaded as time goes on. And like I said, the boats are small enough that they will go under those bridges. Oh, I can't get this. So unlock. Ooh. That wasn't the one I wanted. But hey ho, there we go. Water. Does the power spread to them? What about this one? And this one, and this one? Yeah, we're okay. Power spreads to you, so does the water just about. And then we're going to unhook this. Okay. So now then, we should be able to set up a new route. So I'll start here, and we got to go this direction. So stops to there. Comes down here. So it's literally the opposite direction to the purple route. And it should take a lot of the heat off said purple route. And also get more people moved as well. So we do have a stop here as well, which I can't really do much about that at the moment in time. So we'll just kind of skip that one. To there. To here. Right to there. And then back here again. So that route itself is, go by line name, is now this route here, which I need to change to, is it Blixbury? Yeah. To that one. How many boats do we have on there? We're going to have 5. I'm going to up it to 10 and see how it goes. I can always come back and adjust and change it. But there's people already walking over there right now. I can see this one being a busy one because it's the first stop to the opposite side of the river. So that's going to be a very, very important one. So we'll just give it some time and just see what happens. But that is also in a very, very important route that we need to implement in. Right, this area is now starting to fill up ever so slightly. We are seeing lots more vehicles, so we're probably most likely going to have to stick a roundabout on this. Unless a properly built up 4-lane road connection can solve it. But I'm still hesitant to do it just yet until we see this area built up a little bit more. So in terms of treeage, this is the kind of stuff that I want to add in to really bulk the area up. But I got to give it some time. We have to give it some time. This is some big things that we're throwing in. So I'm going to assume right now we've got so many jobs available. You know, actually not that many more jobs available to people employed, but we are going to have to bring more people into the area, into the region to kind of utilize it a bit more, build up the spaces, get more demands created. So we got a lot of stuff that we need to work towards now right now, which is really quite exciting. Right, so are all the boats on this new route? Yes, there you go. You can start to see some boats now coming through. Completely skipping this one. Fine, didn't want to see you anyway. I'm not sure where they're choosing to start their routes from. I'm not 100% sure where they're choosing to start. Are they going to start here? Yes, okay. They're starting at the beginning where I set my first one. So a bunch of peeps now get on. And this one's going to be in full swing. So it should take a little bit of heat off the purple route going the opposite way. That should be fairly good for us. So we'll see what happens with that. This is not really too dramatic right now, but it is going to get a whole lot worse. It's not the best way to do that, but I see some good improvements coming in very slightly right now. Some good improvements. We'll see what this does. I kind of like this area. It's not the usual grid that we would normally do. It's quite a little bit fun and playful. This road's going to get very busy, which we need to upgrade and sort out in the next episode as well. But ultimately, we'll see what comes from this. We've got to build the additional connection just here as well. Build up some residential too. Get some more people moving in. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys did enjoy this. Smash a like button if you did. And until next time, I see you all soon. So good.